The Isle of Man has a long-standing and stellar reputation in the sport of cycling, and it's a tradition it'll be hoping to keep up at the 2025 Island Games in Orkney. The Isle of Man cycling team claimed 6 medals in Guernsey 2 years ago, and they're set to mount an assault once again on both the road and mountain bike events. Rob Sorby is the team's manager and was part of the setup at the previous games. He's been telling us about their preparations and ambitions for this year.
Preparations have been good. We've got 5 male road riders taking part and 4 male mountain bike riders. Unfortunately, we were unable to have any female riders. The situation, we had 3 female road riders taking part, and unfortunately those girls have other commitments now. We've got Ruby Oakes, Jess Pickervance and Sophie Smith, and their teams have advised them not to take part in the Island Games, which is understandable. For the men, we have a kind of a mixed team where we're going to have 5 male road riders, but one of those road riders is going to take part in the mountain bike events because you're allowed 5 riders there. So we've got Mark Hosthouse at the moment looking like the likely person to do that, but we've also got Callum Salisbury who can ride mountain bikes. So we've got lots of options there. And the same applies to the mountain bikers. The mountain bike team consists of obviously skilled mountain bikers, but we've got Owen Collins, who is also a very good road rider. We've got options available to mix it up for those events.
And there were a number of successes in Guernsey, both on the roads as well. There was Team Silver for the men's team in the Criterion, but also in the mountain biking as well. Both the men's and women's teams did extremely well. So how do you build on the success from Guernsey?
Yeah, it was a successful Guernsey Games. We, just looking at, we had the women mountain bike as Kerry Quayle and Sasha Hosthouse who took part, and they scooped a few medals. And then we had the great news on the last day where the men got a team silver in the crit. The riders who are going this year are arguably, with cycling, we've got a lot of riders who are, professional or just outside professional racing who, like the girls this year, aren't able to commit. But this year we've been fortunate enough, we've got Tyler Hannay coming along, who's sort of reaching a stage in his career where he's looking at representing the Isle of Man more rather than looking to go professionally, and he'll be a very strong rider. And then alongside them we've got some really strong youth or junior riders as they're called now, coming up through the ranks, and those just reaching 18. We've got Callum Salisbury, who's been really strong locally. Excellent time trialist, a good climber, and be good in the road race. We've got Ivan Sorby, my son, who can get himself in the mix and knows how to race, and will be really looking forward to the road race and the crit. We've got young Owen Collins, I've already mentioned, who can do both disciplines. We've got Cian Howard, who's phenomenal athlete, and if he puts his mind to it, he can do really well in the mountain biking. So we've got a lot of this youth, perhaps, that we didn't have last time, where we were taking more senior, seasoned competitors who work, where some of these lads, are coming straight off the bat of being, almost full-time cyclists. So they're straight into it. Yeah, it'll be a very strong team, I think, for Orkney.
And when you mentioned a couple of the younger faces, fresh blood coming into, if you like, they're going to be riding alongside, like you say, those with professional experience. You mentioned Tyler Hannay there, but also when you look at the likes of, like, say, Niall Quiggin and Mark Hosthouse as well, previous Island Games experience as well. So for these younger lads coming through and maybe experiencing it for the first time, how much can they learn, I suppose, off others who've done it before?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That's one of the benefits of having the likes of Mark and Niall in the team. It's they've done one Island Games, which counts an awful lot. They understand what's needed during the week. It is quite a busy week. We have a race every day, and this year we've unfortunately Gianni travelled last year as an extra helper, so it'll only be me officially going on the trip. But we've got a couple of travelling assistants in Jim and Ann Cottier, who are sort of part of the team. But what we need is all of the team to help out on the days that they're not racing. So the days that the road riders aren't riding, they'll be out on the mountain bike course handing out bottles and mucking in there, and the same vice versa for the mountain bikers. So yeah, we'll need everyone to pull the part. We'll need the older riders to act as road captains. In the mountain biking, we've got Ross Thorley and Eric Kelly, who Ross last time round had a serious injury. He damaged his shoulder and went in a bit under par really, and still did really well. But this year he's going superb. He did a really good ride at the weekend, and he's racing away, and hopefully by July he'll find form. And Eric was new to the cycling, if you like, last time round, where he was quite green, and he was going into this event as probably one of his first major events. This time round, 2 years later, he's a regular rider in the expert class in the British National Series. So I'm looking forward to high things from him.
When it comes to the roads particularly, from what you know, if anything at the moment, how might the Orkney circuit around the West Mainland differ to what was in Guernsey?
So Orkney is 58 degrees north. For those who don't really follow geography, we're 54 degrees north, so it's quite a way up. In terms of the terrain, it's lumpy but not hilly. So it's not as hilly as the Isle of Man, but what you're going to experience up there is a wind. It's a bit of a treeless environment. So the time trial, for example, is a very long time trial. It's approaching 30 miles, which is going to be tough, particularly if it's windy and there's no hedges. There'll be nowhere to hide. So that's going to be very tough. The road race will be similar. Perhaps it won't be as hilly. The road race in Guernsey was quite tough. And the crit is around the town centre of Kirkwell, where I've seen that the course, I've had a little look on Google Earth, and it's going to be tight and hairy. So those riders taking part in the Castletown crit, or the old Castletown Commerce, which is we're reinvigorating on the island, which is on June the 22nd. Hopefully they'll have a good experience of what it's like to go around some corners with lots of buildings nearby. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The mountain biking, it's a very much an unknown. We're looking at pictures of Google Earth, and that's it. Until you get there, until you see what they put in place, we'll know then. So I imagine they'll have some challenging sections. Guernsey, from memory, it was a baking hot day, and there was a lot of long grass sections, and it was really, really grueling. I'm hoping for something a little bit more faster and technical in Orkney, but we'll see.
This is something that's largely out of your control, well, completely out of your control in some senses, but when we had cycling last time, there had been quite a long layoff because of COVID as well from the Island Games. So in terms of the opposition you were coming up against, it was possibly a relative unknown in some ways. Are there any known elements in terms of the standard you're going to be coming up against in Orkney?
Yeah, Guernsey, when we took part in Guernsey were the main opposition. They had all of the pro riders ready and available because it was local games. As I say, this one is a little bit unknown. There are always strong islands, like Saramar are always strong in the cycling. Guernsey, Jersey, the Isle of Wight. Those are generally where you get the main competition, but we've had riders turn up in the mountain biking from Rhodes and other islands that just, have obviously been ridden at a serious level and just turned up. We didn't know they were going to turn up, and they're there competing for medals. So it is, yeah. You know some of the regulars. So in the mountain biking, there's a lad from Jersey who's very strong. His name has left me now. And there's another lad from Guernsey, but I've forgotten their names. But in the mountain biking, I know there's a very strong Guernsey rider and a very strong Jersey rider who will be difficult to beat on the day. So those will be the ones who'll be fighting for the gold medal.
Last question. Not going to ask you to make any predictions, obviously, but what would the cycling team class as a successful Island Games?
That's a very tough one. I think we would be looking for what we didn't get last time was individual gold medals.
Thank you for having the stamina to make it to the end of the Manx Radio Sportscast. You're clearly someone who has their eye on the ball at all times. Want to hear more about the latest sporting news across the Isle of Man and much more? Then might I recommend you take the plunge and subscribe to this series or a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so that, in a flash, all of our finest moments take a winner's place on your smartphone. Thank you.